bottle feed them and do the whole. I was a mama dog.
That was the perfect start.
Right.
Howdy, everybody. Yeah.
You need to give people warnings.
Now you know why Gwen wants to smash me in the head with an iron skillet. All right, so let's go ahead and pray in. Heavenly Father, thank you very much for this opportunity to study your word and read with one another and fellowship with each other and to just be blessed in this day with you. We're grateful for that. And thank you for the blessing of each of us here to have each of these people made in your image in our presence. And we're very grateful for that. Thank you. We know you're in charge and have everything under control. Remind us to trust you first and not Taco Bell. Thank you. In Jesus Yeshua's name, amen. All right. So, thanks for coming, everybody. We'll talk to you later. No. Let's go to 19. Who took notes for 19?
I did.
Okay. I just got a general note for 19 that the whole thing's basically on the water of separation. But anyways, what do you got?
I noted that even if you touch the bones or a grave,
Even a grave.
you're unclean. It's like, whoa, interesting.
Yep. And I've asked this before. What does that say about the archaeologists?
Mm-hmm. They're unclean people.
Paleontologists?
So in number 6, what is scarlet? It says you take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet. So what are you guys' other translations say?
I've got Bible Hub open.
Cedar hyssop and scarlet.
6.
I'm in ESV.
Does it say, in what verse was that?
6.
19:6. Oh,
Mine says scarlet material.
Scarlet material. Well, they're putting wood and hyssop in it.
Here, I'll look
and
it
they're
up.
putting material in. Well, that's, wonder if it's a plant or something.
let's say scarlet. Tolate or something like that. Worm. Tola.
Oh, the worm. Okay, that worm. The scarlet worm. Okay, what's it called? That worm. That.
Yep.
Dyed with coconut.
It's called
Squish it to get the red
Coccus
dye.
ilicis.
Yeah, the worm. Okay.
Crimson purple. Is there a
The
worm?
crimson worm. That's it. That's it. The crimson worm.
So does it make like a scarlet dye or something?
Yeah, it says
Yes.
the dried body of a female yielding coloring matter from which is made the dye used for cloth to color it scarlet or crimson. It's called the Coccus ilicis bug.
Cool.
Hmm.
Interesting.
All right. What else we got from 19?
The only thing that I had was I noted the difference in verse 14. That was probably not the only place, but it says law, and then in verse 21 it says statute. But if you look at Scriptures 2009 translation, it translates the law as Torah, and then statute is translated as law, which is I thought was interesting.
They don't eat the sin offering, right?
The sin offering, I think it's burned, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, right.
Burnt to dust,
Yeah.
ashes.
Well, yeah, I'm just making sure I was thinking correctly because they burn everything with that versus when they consume, it's a slightly different process.
Aren't statutes and laws the same thing?
It's not. The Strong's has it listed differently. So the Torah, it has as instruction, and then the statute, the law is a statute. So it actually are two different words. And I just thought how interesting it was. Instead of using Torah and law, they change it to law and statute.
Mm-hmm. But even today, like laws are statutes, right?
In our modern society, but if you look at Torah, it's instruction. It's the instructions. I mean, in the let's see.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Torah though, but like where it says statute,
Yeah,
you just replace it with law, basically.
Difference. Yeah.
in our modern day language, yes, I'm guessing because that's what they did.
Mm-hmm. So then,
First thing that popped up on Google, there's not necessary. These are not. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I got to read more before I open my mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's cool.
on 14, the law in our KJV in the scriptures is Strong's 8451,
Torah.
which is Torah, which is directions, instructions, law. And then in 21, oops. I just thought I was just thinking how interesting that the interchange on that.
And then when you look up the definition of Torah, it says a precept or statute. Especially the Decalogue or Pentateuch, the law.
And then if you look up the statute in 21, it's Strong's 2708, and it says something prescribed in enactment and statute. I just thought it was interesting.
Chuga, or something like that.
Chuka?
Yeah.
Anyway, that was what I got out of that.
All right.
Okay. What about, let's go on to 20. Notes for 20.
This one was a good one. This one kind of makes me think of today. Like, what if we were all to go out to the wilderness today? Would we not do the same thing?
I do it now. I'm not even in the wilderness. I think I'm going to be in serious trouble.
What doesn't make sense to me is, okay, so if they're having these hardships in Egypt, right, and they're praying, take us out, bring us out, save us, and then they go out to the wilderness and it's worse, and they're like, oh, we're going to die. You know, why would you bring us out from Egypt to die here? So it's like, what was so bad there that they wanted to leave that it got worse when they got to the wilderness?
That's just how we funny people are.
Yeah, I think it's one of those the grass is always greener thing. Like
That's it.
if you're like praying for a successful business, and then you get the extra work, or I don't know, maybe it's a bad analogy, but then the stresses of that are making you miserable. But you now have a successful business, and you're like, why did you do this to me, God? You know what I mean? It's that sort of.
Well,
Our
one
mindset.
thought, sort of kind of like what you're saying, Landon, is, in Egypt, they were being oppressed. They were probably being beaten. It was an oppressive by someone else, was oppressing, abusing, making them slaves. They get out into the wilderness, but they had homes, they had whatever they wanted to eat, they had certain comforts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing, because they say, were that we were sitting by the meat pots and had anything we wanted to eat.
Flesh pots.
Huh?
Flesh pots.
Flesh pots. And then they get out into the wilderness. Well, they have their freedom. They're under Yah's instruction, but they don't have those nice comforts.
So it almost makes me think of today. Does not? If you think about it, like we're comfortable in cities and whatnot, but yet you're still under a form of, maybe not the same slavery, but it's like,
Yeah.
It is. You're still paying taxes to own. You don't ever own anything, and if you stop paying taxes, you find out real quick you don't ever own anything.
That's right.
So it's like they wanted freedom, they got it, but then they're like, whoa, this is difficult. We don't have the same comforts, the food, the shelter, the water.
Well, I think it's human nature to just complain about whatever it is we don't have. Complain about what we used to have. Why can't it be like the old way? And it happens quite a bit. I mean, look at all the people that leave a state. You hear it a lot with California. People leave California because it became so oppressive, and then they move someplace en masse and start voting to put in laws that will make it like the place they just left.
Same with like Mexico.
Austin did the exact same thing.
Yep.
I read an article about a lady that was doing that, and she said, I voted for every single tax, thing that came through because we wanted the parks and we wanted, the improvements, and then now you can't afford a house because you can't afford the property taxes. And she's like, well, that's why I left California. And I'm like, well, exactly what you said. Why did you do what?
Why did you keep voting for that stuff?
Yeah.
It's because they think park, nice. Oh, it's a nice little park. And it'd be nice to have a sidewalk to get to the park.
And then I got to have a new freeway to get over there with an exit ramp. And
yeah, hoot number one for all those places is they build the freeway, and then they run out of money to finish it, so they make it a toll road. So they took all your taxes, then they're going to charge you to drive on it
Forever.
Yeah.
And raise it and on and on.
They did that in Texas, outside of Dallas. Alvina probably knows that. I forget which expressway it is. I think it runs north and south. When I lived down there, it was a toll road. I don't know if it still is.
Look at Kansas City now.
You can't
Is
get
it
to
that
the bottom.
Yeah, it's just like Chicago. Last time I went through there a few years ago, it's every exit, it's a toll.
Can't get to the bottom of Louisiana to go fishing.
So obviously, all of us would rather live in the wilderness.
but I think you're right, though. I complain now, and I have to stop and just go, hey, where I'm at right now is very quiet, and it's peaceful, and I can go out in my yard and stand in my yard. It's 5 minutes away to the park. I can go walk. relatively safe. And so I have to remind myself, even though there's things that aren't great, that, job situations and different things like that, but I have to just go, thank you. Thank you that it's a quieter place and I'm more at rest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to rest.
Giving us good Jace here.
All right, let's go to 21.
The bronze serpent.
Fiery serpents. The word is what? Seraphim?
I did some studies.
What's verse? What's verse on that?
6.
I'm sorry, Landon. You said
No, you good. You good. I don't.
No, I was-
Going back to the Hebrew, I was watching. I don't want to confuse anybody. It's all right. It's not. I just never mind. I retract my previous statement.
go for it, Landon.
Well, okay. So I was watching the Bible Project did like a Q&A, and one of the guys that reads Hebrew said for some reason it was. Oh, I see what you're saying. Never mind. Yeah, that's pertaining to a totally different thing. I almost confused myself. I'm sorry. Never mind.
For fiery serpent, if you look it up, it literally just says poisonous serpent. Fiery from burning effect of poison.
Dragons.
What?
Dragons.
Dragons?
Dragons.
Well, it does.
That's
Okay.
the second one. It says majestic beings with 6 wings, human hands or voices in attendance upon God.
What's the Hebrew word?
It is seraph.
Seraph. So plural is seraphim.
2 times it's used as seraphim. 3 times fiery serpent. 3 times fiery.
So has everybody seen pictures of those? The six wing creatures?
Well, depictions.
But then when Moses builds the one on the pole of bronze or brass, it's Nakash,
Mm-hmm.
which is actual serpent, like we know.
That slithery, slimy, slithery thing that.
Right. Isn't that odd?
So did he put the wrong thing on the pole, or have we got a wrong translation? And I can't imagine he would actually put the incorrect thing on the pole.
Where are you getting Nakash?
It's what we see on the pole. It's
Yeah.
what we
Strong's-
see.
Okay.
It's Strong's H5175. And then fiery, yeah, burning, poisonous serpent, specifically a seraph or symbolic creature from their copper color. So bronze, copper. Wow.
So, but the Nakash is a completely different word, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the word like the serpent in the Garden of Eden.
That is a Nakash.
Right.
That's in 21.9, right? That it will use, because I'm seeing Nakash in 21.9, but in 21.8, it's still using seraph.
Right. So was Moses disobedient?
Sounds like it.
Or is there enough of a relation between them?
Well, it says serpent, snake, serpent, image of a serpent, fleeing serpent for Nakash.
So basically, he was flying up there like a flag on that end of that staff.
I've heard people make the analogy that when they looked at this to get their healing, when they looked at this pole, that it's representative or kind of a type of us looking to the cross
Mm-hmm.
for our healing, which is interesting. That still, I don't know, we could probably spend all day on that, just this.
Yeah.
Well, and something that just came to my mind. What about those over in China? Don't they have like dragons on a pole that are like flags?
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's what that reminds me of. But it's their worship of that in a different form.
Right.
Dragons on everything in China.
Yeah.
Who else has something out of this chapter?
The book of where was it at? The book of the war, the book of the wars of the Lord jumped out at me, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I gotta check into that.
I got that too.
Yeah, we don't have it, but where is that written, Matt? Something about there's 200. Where is it written? Something about 200 and some odd hidden books.
Yeah, that's oh gosh.
And then even if you take all the ones, the biblical and extra biblical that we have now, there's still like,
Second Ezra's.
yeah, there's still like another 180 missing or something.
Yeah, it says give. Basically, the books we have today, it says give those to everybody. And then these like 200 or I don't know if that's the exact number, but it was a lot of books. Give these to the elders of Israel, to the wise or something to read and learn. I think it was Second Ezra's because I'm pretty sure Ezra rewrote in his time like all the books.
Very interesting.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Isn't that something about when they were going back to Jerusalem or getting ready to go back to Jerusalem?
Mm-hmm.
Hide these books or keep these books for prosperity so that we'll have them later.
I think I did a book count one time of the known books that we have and the books that are listed in Daniel or one of the prophets, and we're still missing like 50, 60 books.
Yeah, we're missing a lot.
We're missing a lot.
I wonder if the Vatican knows anything about that.
Yeah. Interesting thought, Landon.
It could be. That's what they plundered the library at Alexandria and then torched it.
Right. A lot of different libraries, actually.
Yeah.
Just throughout history, a lot of them caught on fire, and it's interesting.
But Abba preserved his word through the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah. Well, that and the thought just came to my mind. Someone, it's possible to misinterpret the word or to use it to your own advantage. We see prosperity gospel people kind of do that, but even though we can receive truth from it, it's the Spirit working therein that you could have a mountain of information and hide it from the people and still never get what God had intended it for. And therefore it becomes like sand just going through your hands. And he somehow figures out a way to deliver whatever that truth is to us anyway. So,
Right.
Well, in Second Ezra's used to be it was in the 1611 King James.
right.
Before it was taken out. Awful convenient. Take out the book that talks about all the books that were originally written.
Was that where it was, Matt? Was in Second Ezra's,
Mm-hmm.
where it was listing the books?
Well, it
Or the
doesn't. It just tells the amount. Yeah, like
I couldn't remember where it was.
Now, if you can, the other thing I noticed about chapter 21, if you can find a good historical atlas, not a biblical, not a Bible atlas, those usually really stink, but a good historical atlas, and look up the names of all these places that it lists in here, you can trace the exact path that they went on in their travels.
Where would one find one of those atlases, Jonathan?
Basically, just get an old atlas, pre-1950s or earlier, if possible. 1930s.
Just like the history books,
Yeah.
pre-1930s.
Yep. Yeah. Funny how things
This one.
keep changing.
Encyclopedia of Religious Knowledge.
Right.
This is fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, if you can find it, if you got thousands of dollars to spend, there's a book from the 1500s called Kingdom Animaliae, right? Animal Kingdom. And it has a whole big section in there on dragons. So what happened to them? Oh, they just don't exist anymore.
There's another book that talks about how they killed him, wasn't it? That they hunted him.
Right?
But I found what it says. It says that Ezra tells us that of all the books which were written, there were 24 books. Now you got to remember, like First and Second Kings and all those used to be like single books, which they first restored are the first 24 books which were God wanted Ezra to faithfully share with everyone, whether they be righteous or sinful. Then there's 70 final books, however, which they restored last. God commanded Ezra to be faithful and hide those books and make them secret apocrypha books or whatever. This is just a commentary. Not sharing them with everyone, but only sharing them with those who were tested and found to be worthy. So in total, Ezra restored 94 books of scripture, which were lost to the people of Israel.
Well.
And can you imagine the fight? We look at the fight we have over, the current apocrypha and pseudepigraphas, the Enoch, Jasher, Jubilees, all of those. How everybody's like, no, those aren't scripture. No.
Leanne, what was that book you showed? The religious.
It's called, oh gosh, Encyclopedia of Religious Knowledge, Sanford.
This guy even lists what books he thinks are the 70 books. It's kind of funny.
1916.
You have that book?
Yeah.
The one she's talking about, the one she just showed.
Oh, but yeah, the Encyclopedia of Religious Knowledge. Originally copyrighted in 1890 by Charles L. Webster. So,
Wow.
Copyright strike in 1890.
Oh, here we go. Murmur.
who's murmuring?
So was that like the representation? Now that she wrote that was really good. The representation of where the prophecy of the serpent will bruise your heel, but you shall crush his head. And so that maybe goes along with what Michelle's saying.
I don't see that connection, but doesn't mean it's not there. Okay. What else do we have? Anything else from 21? Okay, 22 it is. 22. I don't have anything until quite far down.
I have something in like 20 to 23
Uh-huh.
and then 35. Okay, so he tells Balaam, okay, if they come for you in the morning, go with them, but only tell them what I tell you to say. So then they come in the morning and he goes with them, and then God's mad because he went. Is he mad at Balak or is he mad at Balaam? I don't understand, because then all of a sudden it tells you in 35, go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak to you shall you speak. So I don't understand who's God mad at in 23 and 22.
Balaam.
Yeah.
But he told him to go.
Well, I think he's using what he had already made the decision with his free will to sort of assist them, knowing that they had like nefarious thought for Israel, but it's like, I don't know. I guess he's using the situation to.
Well, he did. He was one of those prophets that sold and made money off of his prophesying, which that's a no-no.
Right.
He had that gift and he misused it. And so, so that makes sense. God would know that he was going to do it anyway. So,
Well, I don't think it says in 20. He said if the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them, and then there's no record that the men actually go call him. He just goes ahead and gets up and goes. Like maybe that's why he was mad at him.
I don't know, but in the midst of that, in verse 31, the first clause right there, right? The Lord opened the eyes of Balaam. Who?
Balaam.
No, the Lord. The Lord opened his eyes, opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way. So it's just another witness to, we need to remember that it's Yah that opens eyes for people to see and ears for people to hear. And there's a lot going on around us that we don't see.
Yeah.
I just thought about the poor donkey.
I know.
Got beat.
I bet that was the last time a donkey ever got hit, though.
At least his.
I think the donkey probably lived a pretty decent life after that.
The bronze serpent thing kind of is being, if you think about it, it's being worshipped even today.
Mm-hmm.
It's on front of every hospital.
Yeah.
Everything medical.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
Paramedic
because
uniform, yeah.
physician.
And look, everybody looks to it for healing.
I know.
Well,
But
majority.
and it's a dual serpent. It's not a single one.
Well, it depends on the organization. Some have one. I just saw one yesterday. It's the American.
Whole world's on lockdown right now because of it. And its theories.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you look up the word physician, the root word comes from witch. So that's why Bob always tells us, go to the elders and the priests are the healers. They're the ones that gave the instructions to how to do that, the stuff that won't make you sicker. Okay, I'm going to be quiet.
No, but most of them do have some sort of I can't remember if it's influenza or it's just one of them that it means spirit, or like one of the translations, it's a spiritual change in the air, and it's like the root word of it comes from like an esoteric. I don't know. It's just strange when you look up the definition of some of those things. It comes from a spiritual sense, but we're taught to look at it medically,
Mm-hmm.
Just interesting.
One thing that struck me on this, when he was talking about the angel of the Lord, most of the time when we see angels and we see people fall down and worship them, they say, "Don't worship me." And this time that did not happen.
But many times, though, when it says angel of the Lord, they do allow the worship because they're in an office of directly representing the throne.
Baal means Lord, right?
I'm sorry?
Baal, Baal. Like that's one of the translations is Lord. I was trying to see what Bamoth Baal translated to, and Bamoth is a high place.
Means orange tide.
I don't get it.
Bamoth? No? Okay.
I got it.
Is that Alabama? I don't get it. Yeah, it means a high place, and Baumouth.
All right, let's go to 23. What do you got? What do you got?
A lot of preparation.
Yes, it is.
How much time do you think is going on through all of this?
Long enough to do all those sacrifices.
I mean, they had to go from one high place to another, so they had to come down and they got to go back up, and you know what I mean?
Right.
And then, is the cloud and the fire still with the people wherever they're camped out at? Like, I mean,
Oh yeah, the pillar of smoke and fire.
that's gotta be quite a sight. But it's weird that even those that didn't like the Israelites were focusing on the people. You see something like that. I don't know, maybe it's a different thought process, you know, like, well, we have these other gods, so maybe we can. I don't know, but they're still looking at there's this huge pillar of fire, and they're looking at the people. How do we curse them? It's just interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Wow. So I mean, his motivation, he's just trying to like bribe God with these sacrifices. That's what it seems to me like. I'm trying to get you to bend your ears so that we can go ahead and curse these people.
Mhm.
Or is he putting are these altars to his God?
I don't know. Well, the whole 7 thing kind of jumped out at me because it was common that in different pantheons to serve different ones. Man, we don't have that information, so it's speculation, but it would. That's kind of what I had pictured: 7 different styles of altars, but I don't know.
He really, really, really wanted them cursed.
I guess he knew that was the only way to defeat them.
Well,
So he must have been really scared.
Huh. And just as you said that, Lynn, that it struck me of the people that probably go around cursing us. You know,
Because they're afraid of truth.
they're afraid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, and I realize that they're directed by the spirits that are they're worshiping or they're operating with.
Right. And
And
fear
those
is
spirits
spirit.
are afraid.
Fear
Huh?
is a spirit. You can cast it away. So
Right. But it's those spirits that are afraid that's directing them to, you know.
right. I think yeah. I agree with you. Okay.
All right. What else do we have? Anything else from 23?
Well, I like how he stood his ground. I mean, I have received a commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. Even though he was kind of a schmuck, he said, I can't, you know?
Oh, he totally screws up in the next chapter, though.
Yes, he does. Sorry.
All right. Well, let's let everybody go about eating their donuts and drinking their coffee. Especially those
Donuts. I
that are
would
back there on Central and Eastern time that just woke up and are drinking coffee. Thank you very much, Matt and Landon and Dee and Lynn for reading today. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're very happy to always have you here. It is a very wonderful thing.
It is.
So, anyways, we love you. We will talk to you soon. See you in 2 days' time in the evening for the reading. Love you. Bye.
Bye.